It's midnight and you're tuning into Nightline with me, Adrian Seet. The top stories. Malaysia's 66th National Day, a spirited display of unity and patriotism. And Malaysia to send protest note over China's maritime claims in MAP. Thanks for joining us. The streets of Putrajaya were adorned with the red, white, blue and yellow of the Jalur Gemilang as thousands of Malaysians came together to celebrate 66 years of independence. FMT's Danish Rajareza was on the ground to bring us the sights, sounds and stories of the celebration.
In a remarkable display of unity, hundreds of thousands of Malaysians flocked to Putrajaya on Thursday to take part in the National Day celebrations, marking the country's 66 years of independence. Also in attendance were the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Sultan Ahmad Shah and the Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Aziza Amina Maimuna Iskandaria, who were accompanied by Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim and his wife, Dr. Wan Aziza Wan Ismail. This is the fifth time the Merdeka Parade is being held in the administrative capital. The streets were buzzing with patriotic fervor as many Malaysians proudly waved the Jalur Gemilang and adorned themselves in the vibrant hues of the country's national colours.
Tadi lebih daripada 100,000 orang telah hadir untuk menyaksikan acara pembarisan dan sambutan Hari Kebangsaan pada hari ini. Lebih daripada 100,000 orang. Ada yang datang seawal lepas maghrib semalam, from 7:30 yesterday, to be here for this very big celebration. Ada yang datang dari Kedah, dari Perak, dari jauh dan dekat.
Those who had traveled from across the country said they came to show the next generation what unity in diversity could achieve.
Well, actually, I came from JB just to celebrate the National Day. I think it's very important that we, as Malaysians, participate in events that is carried out by the government, support the government initiative. Actually, I bring my children here just for them to experience what Malaysia celebration is.
Others came to relive the days of old and to reinvigorate their patriotic spirit.
Yeah, my dad used to bring me early morning. That time I really didn't enjoy it much because of the crowd and all that. But now I look back, it's very nostalgic. The celebration was good and multiracial people was very nice.
For some, today was a day in which they took a trip down memory lane. For others, it was a day that reinstilled a sense of national pride and reminded them that the country's strength lies in the unity of its people. Danish Rajareza, FMT for Nightline.
Meanwhile, the 66th National Day celebration in Putrajaya was marked by a heartwarming gesture from the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Aziza Amina Maimuna Iskandaria. The royal couple demonstrated their genuine and friendly rapport with the people by setting aside formalities and engaging in a warm interaction with parade participants and visitors. The spontaneous gesture by the royal couple, known for their friendly demeanour, received cheers from the attendees, who eagerly embraced the opportunity to interact and capture memorable moments. Walking approximately 200 metres across the square, Al Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Aziza spent some time exchanging greetings, shaking hands and taking selfies before departing. Later in the day, Their Majesties graced a high tea to commemorate the Royal Malaysia Police PDRM officers who died in the Lahad Datu armed incursion in 2013. The reception was held at Istana Negara in conjunction with the National Day celebrations, and it was attended by 30 comrades of the 8th PDRM heroes who were killed while defending the country's sovereignty from the armed Sulu terrorists. Also present were Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, his deputy Datuk Sri Shamsul Anwar Nasara, Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein and his deputy Datuk Sri Ayub Khan Maidin Piche. The royal couple spent nearly 2 hours at the reception and presented personal donations to the widows and relatives of the victims. In the meantime, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim expressed his appreciation to all those involved in the National Day celebrations on Thursday, including those who thronged Dataran Putrajaya for the much-awaited parade. In a post on Facebook, Datuk Sri Anwar hoped the people's spirit of independence would continue to be strengthened and embedded at all levels of society. Describing this morning's event as extraordinary, the Prime Minister, in a separate post later, also conveyed his appreciation to those who took part in the parade, the aerial display and performances. He said such spirit of unity is needed for Malaysia in order to stride forward as a great nation while advising the people to appreciate the nation's independence and sovereignty. More than 100,000 people attended the celebrations at Dataran Putrajaya on Thursday that involved 17,262 participants, 67 contingents, 36 brass bands, 534 land and air assets, and 100 service animals. In Pahang, the region of Pahang, Tengku Hassanal Ibrahim Alam Shah Ibni Al-Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah graced the state-level national celebration held at the Kuantan Municipal Council 4 compound in Kuantan. Amongst the highlights of the celebration was a special presentation themed Sacred Land, Sacrifice and Struggle, which told a story about the earliest generation's struggle against colonization. In Kedah, more than 20,000 spectators gathered at Dataran Medan Bandar in Alor as early as 7 a.m. to watch the state-level parade. However, the celebrations scheduled to start at 9 a.m. were delayed due to heavy downpour and began at 9:20 a.m. with the arrival of the Sultan of Kedah, Al-Aminul Karim Sultan Salihuddin Sultan Badli Shah. Also present was the Sultana of Kedah, Sultana Maliha Tengku Arif. In Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah watched 3,855 people from 91 contingents march in the state-level parade in Indra Mulia Stadium. Accompanying the Sultan of Perak were the Raja Permaisuri Perak, Tuanku Zara Salim, and their children Raja Azlan Muzaffar Shah and Raja Nazira Safia. More than 25,000 spectators thronged the stadium to join the celebration. Malacca held its very own unique National Day celebration with a parade in Sungai Malacca, featuring 12 boats and 2 jet skis. Over 10,000 participants from 179 contingents, including 773 security forces and assets, government agencies and the private sector, became the highlight of the celebrations, held in front of the Proclamation of Independence Memorial in Bandar Hile. In Negeri Sembilan, over 20,000 visitors were wearing batik outfits with the Jalur Gemilang motifs flocked Seremban City Council Square as early as 5:30 a.m. to watch the state-level parade of 5,000 participants from 84 contingents. Also present were the Yang di-Pertuan Besar Tuanku Mukhris Ibni Almarhum Tuanku Munawir and Tuanku Ampuan Besar Tuanku Aisyah Rohani Almarhum Tengku Besar Mahmud. The attitude of certain leaders who are willing to play up the issue of race and religion just to gain political backing is not good for the country, especially when Malaysia is facing various global challenges. Sarawak Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said this was because such desperate action could split the unity of the multiracial community and distract the country from focusing on using all its resources to implement comprehensive development.
Sudah pastinya ini tidaklah baik untuk negara kita. Ketika dunia bergelut dengan pelbagai masalah, khususnya pandemik COVID-19, peperangan dan perubahan iklim global, satu negara sepatutnya bersatu untuk menghadapi semua permasalahan ini.
Speaking after the Sarawak-level National Day celebrations at the Muka Polytechnic Hall, Tan Sri Abang Johari said Malaysia has successfully diversified its economy from agriculture and commodity-based to an economy rooted in manufacturing and services, leading to rapid economic growth for the country. He said the nation, however, must not be complacent and continue to bicker with one another, as that will tend to take us towards division in terms of differences in religion and race or in terms of the region. It was a double celebration for the people of Sabah as the state-level National Day celebrations at Dataran Bandaraya Kota Kinabalu in the morning was then followed by the state's first official Sabah Day commemoration in Tambunan later in the afternoon. Sabah Chief Minister Datu Sri Haji Nur said that while the country looks back at the many successes achieved during the state's 6 decades of independence, the close relationship with the unity government under the leadership of Prime Minister Datu Sri Anwar Ibrahim will continue to be maintained and strengthened.
Kita pada hari ini seharusnya mengambil pendekatan yang positif atas nama kedaulatan dan maruah bangsa.
He said this when officiating the Sabah Day celebrations at Pisom Purwan Square. While Malaya gained its independence from the British on August 31st, 1957, Sabah gained its own on the same date in 1963. Sabah's independence marked the establishment of the de facto self-government in Sabah in 1963 that lasted for 16 days prior to it joining Malaya, Sarawak and Singapore to form the Federation of Malaysia on September the 16th, 1963. Singapore would later exit the Federation 2 years later. Man with multiple criminal records shot dead. News from the foreign front after this breather. As the enthusiasm of Malaysia's 66th National Day continues to resonate, the spotlight shifts to the heartfelt aspirations and dreams that define the nation's journey ahead. In part 2 of our special National Day report, Nightline's Alif Yunus brings you closer to the hearts and voices of the people themselves.
I hope to see more improvement, particularly in education, because I think that's one thing that can help to build the country up. Particularly, we have to start with the children.
Well, I'm hoping that within the next 10 years, I'm hoping that the country will be able to exercise its sovereignty a lot better within the context of its diplomatic ties with China and the US. But within the nation itself, I'm hoping that Malaysia will become more open to its own diversity, like it's more ready to accept the different cultures it already has and stop becoming so isolated with each individual group?
Actually, I do hope that, because a lot of people don't know, outside of the country, don't really know about Malaysia still in this day and age, even though it's, 66 years already. Yeah. I really hope that we are able to not only be known as a country that is very racially harmonious, but also the diversity.
I think our concept of National Day, or our concept of being a society with nationhood, should not just be isolated or confined to National Day. I think in order to feel the sense of love for the country, it should not be just inspired by campaigns or slogans or National Day celebrations. It should be something that we carry within us every day.
While the people continue to voice out their hopes and aspirations, Institute of Strategy and International Studies Senior Fellow Adrian underlines the essence of a nation's growth as an evolving process deeply rooted in the community.
A nation, doesn't arrive at anything. A nation is a process of evolving. And always remember that at the heart of nation is community. Yeah? So people must have a sense of community. They must have a sense of affinity and empathy with one another. And we must have a sense of closeness with very central issues affecting our nation today, like poverty, like cohesion, like education, like the young. These are things that should be central in our public dialogue.
It has become clear that National Day is not just confined to a single date. Instead, it serves as a catalyst for ongoing conversations and actions that shape the nation's identity. Alif Yunus, TV3.
Now, you've probably seen them on social media. Malaysian-born Logesh, his American wife Rachel, and their two boys Zayden and Karen, known as the Kumas. FMT's Sheila Vijayan caught up with them when they were in Malaysia recently to learn what Merdeka means to them. Here's their story.
Hey, Joe. Say hello to the Kumas, Malaysian-born Logesh, his American wife Rachel, and their two boys, Zayden and Karen. The California-based family is steadily becoming a social media sensation, with hundreds of thousands of fans enjoying their adventures as a multicultural family. During their visit to Malaysia recently, FMT Lifestyle caught up with them at Logesh's childhood home in Klang, Selangor. The duo share about the highs and lows of being a multicultural family, saying communication, an open mind and respect for each other are key. They also try to instill a strong sense of both cultures in their children, including teaching their sons Bahasa Melayu and introducing them to Malay songs such as Rasa Sayang. Rasa Sayang.
Even now, if I ask Zayden, hey Zay, what are you? Are you American? Are you Malaysian? What are you?
Both.
You're both.
Another thing that they unanimously agree on is that Klang has good food. Among Rachel's favourites are chicken rice and bak kut teh, while Logesh says that Klang's Melawis char kway teow is better than Penang's. Uh-oh!
This plate right here is the best. Like the absolute best. I can say it without a shadow of a doubt.
Looking back on his experience of having grown up in Klang, Logesh says his hometown has a very strong sense of community.
So I guess I brought that with me wherever I've gone, and I try to
I've tried to share that sort of like living situation with other people. You know, for example, in the States, we always invite our friends over and we feed them with good food, and it's not something that Americans usually do, and I just do it.
Indeed, spending time with fellow Malaysians and enjoying delicious local dishes is what they plan to do on Merdeka Day. But what does our National Day really mean to them?
So to me, Merdeka Day just means unity. It means celebrating this beautiful country. It means just coming together and being, Satu Malaysia.
Like every other country, we all have, our issues, challenges, our differences. But on Merdeka Day is the one day I really see that all that is really forgotten and that we are one. Be careful. And we are, one country, one community. We identify one people group, so it's beautiful. I think that's amazing. Yeah.
Selamat Hari Merdeka Malaysia!
Sheila Wijayan, FMG Lifestyle for Nightline.
The 2001 war movie Black Hawk Down may not have highlighted it, but in real life, Malaysian soldiers played a significant role in the Battle of Mogadishu. In 1993, soldiers from Morbat, the 19th Battalion of the Malay Regiment, played a pivotal role as peacekeepers, particularly in the extended Bakara market engagement. Now, these Malaysians displayed remarkable courage and commitment, as FMT's Jason Desmond explains.
Most of us would be familiar with the Hollywood blockbuster movie Black Hawk Down, which portrays the dramatic rescue of U.S. troops by their fellow soldiers in the 1993 Battle of Mogadishu. But one thing the movie does not highlight is the contribution of 114 Malaysian soldiers who took part in the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Somalia. On the 66th anniversary of Merdeka, retired Major General Rosie Bahrum says it is high time the country learns about and honors the sacrifices made by our brave soldiers on the world stage.
Our boys, when I say our boys, I mean the soldiers, you must remember, they are also human beings and they are not numbers. So some appreciation, little bit of appreciation must be given to them.
Rosie's call follows the release last week of the local movie Malbat, Misi Bakara. The movie captures the experiences of Malaysian troops on the East African battlefield. The film offers a glimpse into the grim realities of war experienced by Malaysian peacekeepers deployed in the Somalian capital of Mogadishu. In the Bakara market mission on October 3rd in 1993, Malbat led a 70-vehicle column of armored personnel carriers. Supported by a handful of Pakistani tanks and joined by U.S. troops, they navigated their way to the site of the first Black Hawk helicopter crash, deep within the territory controlled by Somali warlord Muhammad Farah Aidid. Retired Captain Mazlan Fauzi, who served as a 27-year-old second lieutenant during the battle, recounted a painstaking journey they had to undertake along narrow roads.
I didn't expect that fire come too fast. We're expecting the fire we're going to receive maybe near to the objective. But I think Somalia already prepared for that.
Mazlan said the convoy came under heavy fire from the militia, which launched rocket-propelled grenades and saw one Malaysian soldier, Lance Corporal Mat Azlan Awang, lose his life. 7 other Malaysian soldiers were wounded in the attack. Mat Azlan's death hit Rosie hard.
The loss of APC is not so much a worry to me, but I got to answer about the 8 people there. To me, the safety of my boys is my prime concern.
Mazlan said that while soldiers must be willing to lay down their lives for the country, officers like Rosie bear the burden of protecting their troops and ensuring their safe return.
These soldiers, even though during peacetime they look normal people, but they are not normal. They are special people. They show their courage, They show their commitments.
Jason Desmond, FMT for Nightline.
The government will send a protest note to China over the latter's claims on the South China Sea as outlined in the China Standard Map 2023 edition that also covers Malaysia's maritime areas. Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Zamri Abdul Kadir said the move was a follow-up step taken by the government over the matter. Datu Sri Zamri said such a move has been part of the country's practice in dealing with such issues. In its statement on Wednesday, the Foreign Ministry said that Malaysia does not recognize China's claims in the South China Sea as outlined in the China Standard Map Edition 2023, which also encompasses Malaysia's maritime areas. The statement added that the map holds no binding authority over Malaysia, and the government remains consistent in rejecting any claims on the nation's maritime areas based on a 1979 map of Malaysia. On Monday, the Chinese Ministry of Natural Resources issued the China Standard Map Edition 2023 that also covers the exclusive economic zone maritime areas of Malaysia near Sabah and Sarawak, Brunei, the Philippines, Indonesia and Vietnam, as well as several areas in India.
This week on Money Matters, we'll talk about the return of tourists to Malaysia. Can the nation expect a full recovery by the end of 2023? What efforts can be taken to build back the sector in the post-COVID era? Join us with MATA President Nigel Wong Choon Tiem this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and live HD stream on Tonton.
A man with a criminal record of 12 offences, including violent crime, was shot dead by an unknown assailant or assailants on Jalan Hamzah Alang in Klang on Wednesday night. Klang Utara Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Vijaya Rao Samachulu said police received a report that a shooting had occurred in the Kapar area at 10:35 p.m. Now, he said a team from the District Police Headquarters was immediately dispatched to the scene in front of a two-storey shophouse. Initial investigations revealed that several gunshots were heard by members of the public, and there and then occurred a small accident. Checks on the identity of the victim then revealed that the 36-year-old had 12 entries in a criminal record that included drug-related offences and violent crimes. Police are now looking for witnesses to the incident. The case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. After this breather, 5-storey building fire kills at least 73 people. Stay with us. At least 73 people have died and more than 50 injured on Thursday after a fire ripped through a rundown 5-storey building in downtown Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, the fire, which broke out at 1 a.m. local time, took 3 hours to contain as firefighters evacuated people from the building and the injured were treated on the scene or transported to hospitals. Johannesburg Emergency Management Services spokesperson Robert Mulaudzi, however, said the death toll was likely to increase as more bodies were likely trapped inside the building. He added it was not immediately clear what had caused the blaze and that a search and recovery operation was underway. According to local media, the building had been previously abandoned but was inhabited at the time of the fire by as many as 200 people in an informal settlement. Over in the Philippines, 16 people, including a 3-year-old girl, were killed in a fire that ravaged a house converted to a T-shirt manufacturing equipment establishment in Quezon City on Thursday morning. Now, 3 people survived with injuries after jumping off the second floor of the 2-storey factory and were taken to the hospital. According to the Bureau of Fire Protection Chief Superintendent Nahum Taroza, The house on Kennedy Lane was undergoing expansion when the fire struck on the first floor of the house. Taroza said chemicals used for the T-shirt printing could have caused the fire to spread rapidly. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The general who led the overthrow of the 55-year Bongo dynasty on Wednesday is set to be sworn in on Monday as transitional president of the West African state. The swearing-in of General Bryce Oligui Nguema will take place at the Constitutional Court. Spokesman for the new regime said the military has sought to reassure donors they would respect all commitments at home and abroad and phase in transitional institutions. In the meantime, the deposed President Ali Bongo has appeared in a video at his home calling on all his friends all over the world to make noise on his behalf. Bongo's fate remains unclear, but the Committee for the Transition and Restoration of Institutions, that includes the heads of all army corps, said he had been put under house arrest and placed in retirement. Boca set semi-final date with Palmeiras. Action from the Copa Libertadores when we come back.
Raikan kemuncak.
On to sports. Football. The 2023 Copa Libertadores. Veteran goalkeeper Sergio Romero saved 2 penalties and led Boca Juniors to the semi-finals as his side beat Racing Club 4-1 at penalty shootouts. The normal and extra time ended goalless, despite both teams having several chances to find the net, leaving the winner to be decided through penalty shootouts. Racing's Leonardo Sigali's penalty was brilliantly blocked by Romero, while Marcos Rojo converted his to seal a 4-1 victory for Boca Juniors. Boca will face 2020-2021 champions Palmeiras in order to reach their 7th Libertadores final. With a 4-0 away result secured last week, Palmeiras did not make much effort to hold a goalless draw against Deportivo Pereira in Sao Paulo and advance to semi-finals. Deportivo's greatest chance for a goal came midway through the first half when Angelo Rodriguez dribbled through 2 Palmeiras defenders before unleashing an effort that hit the post. Palmeiras also had a chance to extend their advantage, but Arthur's effort was blocked by Aldair Quintana. At the joyous celebrations across the country marking Malaysia's 66th National Day as we celebrate our unique multicultural heritage. With that, I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for watching and have a splendid Friday ahead.